Imagine a life spanning 2.5 centuries, a single human existence stretching from the era of imperial dynasties to the dawn of the digital age. This is the legend of Lee Ching Yuen, a herbalist who allegedly lived for 256 years. When asked for his secret, he didn't point to a hidden fountain of youth or a complex alchemical elixir. He pointed to a simple, shriveled red berry. To the modern consumer, this fruit is a hollow trend, a chewy, overpriced garnish scattered over smoothie bowls to justify a premium price. It is a superfood marketing buzzword stripped of its gravity. But in the misty archives of ancient wisdom, the goji berry was something far more profound. It was a biological engine, a substance capable of altering the very speed at which a human being wears down. In the foundational texts of the East, specifically the Divine Farmer's Classic, written around 200 AD, herbs were not merely ingredients. They were ranked by their spiritual and physical utility. Most medicines were classified as lower-grade substances used to kill sickness, often carrying their own toxicity. But the goji, or Lycium Barbarum, was crowned a superior herb. It was a substance that could be consumed daily for an entire lifetime, promoting a lightness of body and a defiance of time itself. Think of your body as possessing a biological battery centered in the kidneys. In traditional practice, this is the reservoir of your vitality. Life stress and the relentless march of years drain this battery. The goji berry was seen as the ultimate recharger, a way to buffer the wear and tear of existence. By the Tang dynasty, this wasn't just folklore. It was a critical commodity. The Silk Road, which we often remember for its trade in textiles and spices, was also a conduit for what nomads called soft gold. There exists a black variant of this fruit, a rare, chemically potent berry hidden in the remote deserts of the Himalayas, unknown to the West for centuries. Yet the reality of what we consume today is somber. We are largely eating a zombie version of this ancient powerhouse, sugary, pesticide-laden, and industrially processed, until the medicinal soul has been evaporated. We have traded the red diamond for a mass-produced shadow. To reclaim the potency that defined this plant for 4 millennia, one must look beyond the supermarket shelf. This is the protocol for the modern seeker. First, seek the source. True medicinal goji must hail from the high-altitude, mineral-rich soils of Ningxia, or the Himalayan plateaus. These harsh environments force the plant to produce high concentrations of secondary metabolites, the very compounds that offer us protection. Second, the preparation. Never consume them as dry, leathery snacks. To unlock the cell walls of the fruit, they must be rehydrated. Soak them in warm, not boiling water for 15 minutes. This creates a tonic that is easily assimilated by the blood. Third, observe the color. If you can find the black goji, the soft gold, treat it with reverence. Its pigments are so sensitive that they will turn the water a deep royal purple, releasing antioxidants that are virtually unmatched in the botanical kingdom. If you choose to integrate these lost crops into your life, you are doing more than following a diet. You are participating in a lineage of longevity that predates modern industry by thousands of years. We must stop viewing nature as a resource to be stripped and start seeing it as a master to be studied. Only then can we move past the commercial veneer and find the lightness of body that Lee Ching Yuen claimed so many centuries ago. The secret wasn't just the berry, it was the respect for the biological engine within. Look closely at the bright red berries in your pantry. Are they a source of life or a beautifully packaged lie? In the misty archives of the 16th century, Lee Ching Yuen, the master of the materia medica, penned a secret that would echo through the Silk Road. He spoke of a small crimson jewel capable of mending the dimming eye and fortifying the kidney. In the framework of traditional wisdom, your kidneys are the biological engine of the body, the reservoir of Jiang, our essential life force. Think of it as a battery. Aging, quite simply, is the slow, inevitable leak of that power. To the ancients, the goji berry was not a snack. It was the recharge. From the soup pots of commoners to the jade bowls of emperors, this soft gold was consumed daily to counteract the relentless wear and tear of existence. It promised a lightness of body, a clarity of mind that transcended the physical. But how did a superior herb become a sugary zombie in a plastic bag? The decline began with a rush, the red diamond rush. In the early 2000s, as the West developed a voracious appetite for longevity, the traditional semi-wild gardens of Ningxia were bulldozed. In their place rose massive industrial monocultures. But the goji plant is biologically fragile. Its skin is thin, its flesh sweet, a literal magnet for aphids and mites. When you grow it in a monoculture, pests descend like clouds. To save the harvest, industrial farmers turn to chemical warfare. A 2015 investigation by Greenpeace titled "Pesticides: The Hidden Ingredient" pulled back the curtain. The lab results were horrifying. Supermarket samples were found laced with a cocktail of banned pesticides, including carbofuran and fenpermethrin. And then there is the matter of aesthetics. A natural goji berry, when dried, turns a dull, dark crimson, sometimes bordering on a dusty brown. But consumers buy with their eyes. They want neon. They want fire. To satisfy this vanity, producers began bathing the harvest in sulfur dioxide. It keeps the berries artificially bright, yes, but it also degrades the very bioactive compounds that made the herb superior in the first place. For many, this ancient healer became a modern trigger for asthma and allergic reactions. To reclaim the power of this lost superfood, you must look past the neon glow. The protocol. First, seek the dull red. Real potent goji should look aged, not painted. If it looks too perfect, it likely is. Second, the water test. Place a few berries in warm water. If the water turns a bright artificial orange immediately, you are likely looking at added dyes or heavy sulfur treatment. Natural goji releases its pigment slowly in a soft golden hue. Third, source exclusively from high-altitude organic regions that prioritize semi-wild cultivation over industrial output. We have traded the battery of our existence for the convenience of the supermarket shelf. But the lightness of body Lee Ching Yuen wrote about is still attainable. It requires us to stop being consumers and start being guardians of our own vitality. Choose the herb, not the brand. Recharge the engine before the battery runs dry. Look closely at the bright red berries in your local snack aisle. They are, for all intents and purposes, the zombie version of a legend. What was once revered as soft gold in the misty archives of the Materia Medica has been stripped of its soul by the machinery of mass production. To understand why this corruption matters, we must peel back the skin of the Lycium Barbarum and look at the biological engine within. Imagine the human body as a complex circuit and the kidneys as its primary battery. In ancient wisdom, the goji berry was the fuel for this battery. This isn't mere mysticism, it is high-level biochemistry. The red goji carries a unique arsenal of polysaccharides, complex carbohydrate chains that don't spike your insulin like a candy bar, but instead act as biological modulators, fine-tuning your immune response. Consider the zeaxanthin content. We are told yellow corn is the gold standard for eye health, yet to match the retinal protection found in a single handful of high-quality goji berries, you would have to consume nearly 50 ears of corn. It is a density of nutrition that seems almost impossible, a concentration of solar energy captured in a tiny crimson fruit. But if the red goji is a spark, the black goji, Lycium ruthenicum, is a supernova. Found in the high arid plateaus, the black goji replaces carotenoids with a staggering concentration of oligomeric proanthocyanidins, or OPCs. You can witness this potency yourself through the water test. Drop a few dried blackberries into a glass. If the water is alkaline, it bleeds an oceanic blue. If acidic, it transforms into a brilliant royal purple. This is not a party trick. It is the visual signature of the highest concentration of OPCs in the natural world. While the celebrated blueberry offers a respectable defense against aging, the black goji is effectively 10 times more potent. It is a scavenger of free radicals, a biological shield against the wear and tear of existence. Yet there is a reason modern regulatory bodies view this plant with a strange suspicion. In recent years, the FDA has issued warnings to those who claim this fruit can fight cancer or reverse time. The irony is profound. They flag the goji not because it is inert, but because it is too active. It interacts with human blood chemistry so potently that it defies the neat, sterilized categories of modern food. To reclaim this power, one must move beyond the industrial snack pack and follow the protocol of the ancients. First, seek the red diamond berries that are deep in color, not treated with sulfur, and still possess a slight tackiness. Second, perform the water test on black varieties to ensure the anthocyanin integrity is intact. Third, do not boil them. High heat destroys the very polysaccharides we seek. Instead, steep them in warm water, no hotter than a drinkable tea, allowing the essence to bleed out slowly. When we consume the goji in its true uncorrupted form, we are not just eating a fruit. We are participating in a lineage of longevity that stretches back to the Silk Road. We are feeding the battery. We are seeking that lightness of body described in the ancient texts, a state where the biological engine runs clean, unburdened by the friction of the modern world. If you wish to explore more of these forgotten biological keys, join our journey into the archives of nature. The path to longevity is often hidden in plain sight, waiting to be rediscovered. Imagine a berry so potent it was once called soft gold, a fruit whispered about in the misty archives of the Materia Medica as the secret to a body that defies time. But look at what is sold today. In our rush to industrialize, we have created a ghost. A sulfur-laden, nutrient-stripped zombie version of the legendary Goji. If you seek the true Lycium Barbarum, the biological engine of the ancients, you must understand one thing. The only way to guarantee the superior herb is to bypass the industrial supply chain entirely. You cannot buy it. You must grow it. Fortunately, this sacred plant is biologically a weed. It is a survivor hardy from the frozen winters of North Dakota to the humid, heavy summers of Florida. While fancy roses wither, Goji thrives in the poor alkaline dirt that others reject. It asks for nothing and gives everything. For the classic red Goji, seek out varieties like Phoenix Tears or the Life Berry. Source your seeds from those who guard the heritage of the earth nurseries like Baker Creek or Strictly Medicinal. But be warned, you are not merely planting a bush. You are releasing a kraken. Its long, arching canes will reach out, rooting wherever they touch the soil, creating a sprawling fortress of longevity in your backyard. If you are adventurous, seek the Black Goji Lycium ruthenicum. It is a creature of the arid west, a drought-tolerant marvel that requires zero care once its roots find their home. But power demands respect, and nature has its mimics. Before you begin this journey, you must learn the protocol of safety. First, a warning for the foragers: the forest hides a dangerous doppelganger, the bittersweet nightshade. Both carry red berries, both wear purple flowers. But look closer. Open the fruit. A goji berry contains tiny tomato-like seeds. The nightshade holds a different toxic pattern. Unless you are a master of the leaf, do not forage in the wild. Grow from certified stock. Second, because goji is a potent biological catalyst, it is not for everyone. If you are on warfarin or blood thinners, stay away. This berry can amplify anticoagulant effects to a dangerous degree. If you are managing diabetes, know that goji is powerful enough to lower blood sugar on its own. Combining it with insulin can lead to a sudden crash. And for those who react to the nightshade family tomatoes, peppers, eggplants, the goji may trigger that same inflammatory response. To reclaim this herb is to reclaim a piece of lost wisdom. It is a return to this garden, a rejection of the monoculture, and a step toward the lightness of body promised centuries ago. Plant the seed, tame the kraken, and finally taste the difference between a commercial snack and a true elixir of life. In the misty archives of the 16th century, the Materia Medica spoke of a superior herb capable of granting a lightness of body and a spirit that defied the years. Today, we find this legend in plastic bags on supermarket shelves labeled as a superfood. But look closer. What we are often sold is a ghost, a zombie version of a legendary healer. The story of the Goji Berry is a microcosm of our modern food system. We discovered something ancient and powerful, then we proceeded to break it. In the red diamond rush of global trade, we commodified the sacred. We bred the medicine out of the plant to make it sweeter for the modern palate, and we poisoned the soil to make it cheaper for the mass market. We traded a longevity herb for a sugary snack, forgetting that Lycium Barbarum was once known as the soft gold of the Himalayas. In traditional Chinese medicine, the goji is not just a berry. It is a biological engine. It was designed by nature to recharge the jiang, the battery of the body stored within the kidneys. It was the buffer against the wear and tear of existence. But to access that power, we must unlearn our modern habits. Here is the protocol for reclaiming the medicine. Stop treating goji berries like common raisins. For the red goji, you must rehydrate. Let them swell in warm soups or herbal teas, just as the ancients did. This is the only way to unlock the polysaccharides trapped within their fibers. For the rare black goji, the rules change. Never subject it to boiling water. High heat is a killer of anthocyanins. Instead, soak them in cool or lukewarm water. Watch as the liquid transforms into blue dragon blood, and drink that infusion as a direct recharge for your cellular system. Planting a goji bush in your own backyard is a radical act of rebellion. It is a refusal to accept the nutrient-stripped offerings of an industrial world. By placing this kidney of the garden into your soil, you are engaging in long-term thinking. You are planting a biological battery that will sustain you for decades to come. If you are ready to build a sanctuary that heals as deeply as it feeds, walk this path with us. Hit the subscribe button, join our community in the garden, and let us reclaim what has been lost. I will see you in the garden.